Hello, I'm Simon and welcome back to an architecture tour of Deus Ex Human Revolution. Right now we are at Picus Communications, as you can see Picus 03 Telecom. Picus is they're a media company, and most significantly all the news reports you see in the game are Picus news. Now this is Montreal, and as you can see we have the whole city laid out before us, which is pretty cool, although it's fairly low density. I mean, we have the city around us, and then out there's a lot of suburbs, I guess. I mean, out of all the cities we've been to so far, well, there's only two really. There's Detroit and Hengsha. I guess this is the most we've seen, or the most similar to a normal city as we would expect it, that we've seen. You know, a city center and the suburbs. Anyway, that's not too important. We're never going to go out there. We're going into this building, so we have... what is this stuff? It's like radars? I don't know why there's radars at the top of this tower. I mean, I understand a satellite dish, but I'm not sure what those things are meant to be. Anyway, various communications equipment. Let's go inside. Maintenance room. Nothing special there. So that's the helipad, by the way. So we get dropped off by helicopter. We come downstairs. This is also a gameplay area. But interestingly, out of all the gameplay areas, this is probably the most coherent, or the most like a real building. So we come in here, there's an open plan office area, which is fairly cool. I believe this was also a concept art area, so maybe like this angle here, that looks pretty good. So they drew a concept art of this, and then they made the game area based off of that. Huh, a lot of squares at Picus Web. So a lot of rounded squares. The color scheme is white, grey, and white, charcoal grey, and blue. Rounded squares. Not sure if that's significant. Probably not. Probably just it's just a choice. I mean, it's very clean, very futuristic. There's this room here, which is significant to the story. Kind of. We've got wavy ceilings. We've got things on the wall. We have water at the edge, interestingly. And then we have windows looking out onto the city. Pretty cool. We have plants. Not too much to say. I don't know what the watery theme is about, although water obviously it moves, it's changeable, and water tends to symbolize mystery as well, because it's, you know, the oceans, they're deep, and so water symbolizes hidden depths often, and fluidity and movement and all that kind of stuff. And also, I guess water symbolizes life as well. The water gives life. I'm not entirely sure how that... oops, the wrong way. I'm not sure how that ties into the story though. Hidden depths, movement, life. I guess it does. I mean, I don't want to spoil too much of the story. If you want to think about... if you've played the game, you might want to think about the character associated with this building. So we came down from the roof, through an office area, into a lobby area, and then there's elevators. Whoops, map. So let's see. Helipad was up there. See, I think this actually functions as a real building. Look, it's supposed to be a tower, and they're actually all stacked up on top of each other. As in a tower. So there's a rooftop area, there's a staircase, there's the open plan office area, there's the rooms, that's where the water is, and then there's a lobby. I mean, aside from this strange bit where there's gaps, this actually works as a real building. Or, you know, it's kind of believable as a real building. And the elevator actually seems to connect the floors in a coherent way. If you imagine a tower building, yeah, that actually makes sense as a building. Unlike the Taiyo Medical building, where, you know, the factory was all spread out, corridors and rooms, and the Highland Park kind of factory kind of place. Again, the internment camp is just corridors and rooms all stretched out, whereas here is actually floors stacked on top of each other. So here we go, Picus TV lobby. Oh, the music. I might want to turn the music down. The reason there's some pretty exciting music is because, well, it's still kind of loud. I hope it's not too loud. Well, you'll find out if you play the game. You'll find out why there's music like that. So this is the TV studio area. Wait a minute. This is the TV studio area? The lobby is here. Okay, this is strange. The lobby should not head straight into the TV recording area, I don't think. Oh, maybe it can. I'm not sure. Seems a bit strange though. You'd think there'd be, you know, common rooms or like a cafeteria or offices, or, you know, you imagine if you're a guest coming in, you might have makeup rooms. I mean, there's storage rooms, but there's no... Yeah, because this is the TV studio right here. We have cameras. This is the newsroom. And right there is where they present the news. There's no teleprompters to read from, interestingly. Yeah, so there's no changing rooms, no preparation rooms for the people who might be on the news. And there's only one studio, which is a bit strange. Anyway, apart from missing a few rooms, I guess everything else is fairly correct. Let's see, what's this here? That's offices. There's no green screen. Yeah, it's missing a few elements. Let's just leave it at that. So we got lights. I don't know why all these lights are pointing in all sorts of directions. You'd think they would point towards the where they're shooting the news. Well, they kind of do. Look at that. They all point that way. Yep. Not too much more to say. We can come back here. We have the soundboard and production and all that, which is pretty cool. Buttons. Can't press any buttons. Alright, let's just keep moving. Now this is odd. This is odd. The funicular, which is a diagonal elevator, the funicular is off the TV recording studio. No, that's completely wrong. You can't do that because it's an elevator. So in order to get down the funicular, you have to move through the television recording place. it's like a circulation path going straight through a place where you wouldn't want people wandering around because it's a recording studio. It's strange. Anyway, so that's a bit of a strangeness in the layout of that area, but again, we are prioritizing gameplay over, you know, accuracy, I guess. So the funicular lobby, I guess this is a lobby for the funicular. I mean, we can see the ceiling now is, you know, more open. Back when we're here, this is all concrete and stuff. So we're back in the service area. This is not a public area, it seems. And definitely when we head down the funicular, it's not a public area. It's in fact a secret basement. I think it's meant to be a secret basement. Anyway, we can take the lift down. Whoa, check it out! So we briefly get to see Montreal, although it's not too interesting, and there's like a black circle in the middle, which is a bit strange. I wonder why they didn't finish that artwork. But that looks good. And then it's gone. So we're heading deep underground into the basement. Yeah, so the Picus TV building, it was pretty good, I think. The layout of it was pretty believable right up until we got to the news studio. And then past that, which didn't make sense. I mean, you really wouldn't want people walking through the TV studio to get to the funicular. You would have a different hallway, I think. But I mean, as I said, you know, gameplay-wise, the recording studio was a place where you had to deal with some enemies. So I guess that's a gameplay area, and then you wouldn't want the player to be avoiding the gameplay area, you know, walking down the corridor, get into a funicular without ever having to deal with the enemies. Actually, 30, 31, we can count the numbers if you want to see how far down we go. 32, 33. I mean, we don't know how tall the tower actually was. I don't know if we started at 0 at ground level. We might be 33 stories underground. If that's the case, that's pretty deep underground. So this is the secret sub-basement underneath the Picus news studio, and I can't really see that symbol very clearly. We go up there to have a look later, but we can see this. This does reference the first Deus game, and you can interpret the meaning of this quite easily, I think. A hand holding the world. Yeah, I think you can figure out what that means. So we have that's a security room. Let's just head up, upper floor and armory. So that was the logo we couldn't see clearly before. Interesting. Oh, and we can see this panel again. If you remember earlier, it was in that room with the wavy ceiling. Oh, and down here the color scheme, we're back into yellows and greys again. See, the lights are yellow and then the black. Although we have these blue panels as well. Let's see, armory, operating area of 3. It's a little bit confusing. I can show you the map. So, let's see, we came in through here, funicular, corridor, the statue, and then there's this area. So there's a lower area, there's an open plan office, although it's not a very big office. And then we're up here, so we have some balconies overlooking, and then pathways overlooking the office area down there. So down there's the office area. Out that way is where we came in. So there's two ways around this room here, which again is a gameplay area. So there's pathways upstairs and paths down here. Data storage 802.11. That's what we're going, by the way, 802.11. Sub-level access. So again, you're walking through some people's office to get to the next area. In most buildings you have all the circulation in one place, and then branching off the circulation are the offices. You don't have people walking through offices to get to places. Anyway, we have computers with more office. See, this is more like how spaces are usually laid out. You have corridors, which are the circulation, and then off the corridors are the offices, so that people walking around the corridors don't disturb the people in the offices. You certainly don't have people walking around disturbing a news studio where they're recording the news. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Let's see, we'll walk this way. What's this? Data processing area. That's a lot of light. I'm not sure why the floor is lit up like this. Aside from looking awesome. I won't stare at that too much. If you wanna know what this is about, you can play the game for yourself. That's the moon. It's a hologram of the moon. Why do they have a hologram of the moon? To find out, buy the game and play it. Haha. And that, what's that? Picus. This is interesting actually. See this logo here? When we came into this sub-basement, there was the logo without the Picus on it. And now here there's the logo with the Picus on it. Just as a clue as to what's going on, originally the logo did not have Picus on it. Picus was added to the logo later on, according to the story. But that's the backstory, that's not actually in the game, in the gameplay as such. So we come down to here, data storage 802.11. I guess I'll come in here. Hope. Whoa, look at that. The whole thing just turned blue. If you're wondering how the color scheme changes, it's actually, not just the textures, there's a post-processing filter on the screen, on all the graphics. So as you walk into certain areas, the whole thing will be tinted. So, the color scheme here is yellow and black, so it's this tint. But the next area here, it's a blue area. So now it's a blue tint. Again, we have the water, and wow, that's a long way down. I guess these are computers? I don't want to give too much away, but you might wonder why there's water and power cables and computers. I'm sure you all know that computers do not get along with water very well, but that's how the story goes, and that's how the gameplay goes as well. Exit is this way, I'm not going to go down there. Well, this is basically the end of the Picus section of the game. Here, yeah. I mean, yeah, like architecture-wise, it's consistent, I guess, mostly consistent. But there's not too much symbolism, there's no real storytelling through the architecture. I mean, through the game, as you play through it, it tells you a bit of the story, but it's not reflected in the architecture very much. And yeah, mostly this area is gameplay, you know, avoiding enemies or killing them depending on your playstyle. And getting into this room and doing whatever it is that happens in this room. Alright, so next part we go briefly back to Detroit. And I'll see you there, and we'll find out what happens there when we get there. Thanks for watching.